Right now, frightening moments for fans at a high school football game after shots ring out. Plus, a shooting and standoff in Waunakee turns into a homicide investigation after the victim dies overnight. And a mini marathon causing major detours. The road closures you should know about before heading downtown this morning.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is August 18th. I'm Josh Breiter alongside meteorologist Chris Reese, and kind of another humid morning out there. A lot of dew on the car, just kind of not comfortable.
It is, and you know what? As a matter of fact, we even have a dense fog advisory out there this morning for what we are tracking out there. Let's go ahead and show you that dense fog advisory that goes from one end of Wisconsin to the other, and that includes us right here in the Madison area. Josh, I was driving through some of that fog this morning, and I'll tell you what, yes, you get in some of these spots and you just get a little worried out there. But here's the visibility. We're at half a mile here in Madison. The Dell's at 0 visibility right now. There's some patches within that aren't even being reported that are at 0 visibility. So do keep that in mind. Here it is downtown. I mean, you can see it looks a little bit foggy, but with the lights there, things are able to be seen. 64 degrees right now. Even the airport reporting the fog right now. The dew points into the low 60s as well. Temperatures are all in the 60s for us, other than Milwaukee at 70 this morning, and a big change of pace. 24 hours later, no flooding rains, but Doppler max just completely clear there. So that is good news. We'll keep the sunshine around going through the rest of the day. Temperatures will top out into the low 80s for those highs this afternoon, right around 81. Here's the Beltline at Park Street, looking empty as it should at 5 o'clock on a Saturday morning. No issues being reported anywhere across the area this morning.
Looks like a great day on tap today.
It does look like a great day on tap. We're, of course, going to be following the weather.
All right, Chris, thank you. New this morning, authorities in Florida are trying to figure out what led to a shooting at a high school football game. Police have not yet released any information on suspects or a motive. Palm Beach Central High School's football stadium was evacuated after gunshots rang out during a practice game last night. Authorities say it stemmed from an altercation between students. Deputies say a group of students got into a fight, resulting in gunfire, and 2 people were shot. Video posted to social media shows students frantically evacuating the stadium.
Just started running towards the fence instead of the road to get away and go as further as we could. And I got like cuts from jumping over the fence, and we jumped over another barbed wire fence and just kept walking till we got to the houses. We tried to get people to answer, but nobody would answer.
Right now, the victims aren't being named and their conditions are known. Police say they are being treated at Florida area hospitals. Right now in Waunakee, a shooting and standoff is now a homicide investigation after the victim who was shot died. Police say a man surrendered after shooting a woman multiple times at the Creekside condominiums on Kearney Way in Waunakee. Investigators tell News 3 a man who lives there entered into a neighbor's apartment, shooting her 3 times. Police say the man, considered mentally unstable, barricaded himself inside the apartment before surrendering after a brief standoff. Neighbors in the area say they were surprised to find this going on in their community.
We're a pretty tight-knit neighborhood, at least with where we live here, so we kind of know just about everybody that lives in the building. So we just kind of worked together to try to figure out exactly who. When we found out that it was a woman with children, we kind of were able to eliminate a lot.
People were locked out of their homes for several hours as police continued to search that building. 5:04 this morning, Wisconsin drivers will see more police officers along the road the next couple of weeks. It's the first weekend of the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign, which runs through Labor Day. Hundreds of extra officers and deputies will be looking for drunk drivers leading up to the holiday. The DOT reports drunk driving crashes caused more than 160 deaths and 3,000 injuries in the state last year. There are several first alert traffic notes to pass along this morning. First, Madison's mini marathon will shut down some roads downtown and on the near west side this morning. Metro buses will also be detoured in that area. You're looking at the map of that route right here. It starts at the Memorial Union and goes past the Capitol, Camp Randall, the Henry Vilas Zoo, the Arboretum, and then up to Picnic Point. The race starts at 7 this morning. You can find a full list of the closures at MadisonMiniMarathon.com. And happening tomorrow, a lot of downtown streets are going to be closed for the Outreach Pride Parade. Capitol Square will be shut down from 11 o'clock tomorrow morning until 2 in the afternoon. The intersection of State Street and the square will stay closed until 4 for a post-parade rally. All roads that intersect with State Street except North Lake are also going to be closed Sunday afternoon. You can find a full list of these closures and the bus detours on the City of Madison's website. For anyone driving to Illinois, there will be nightly lane closures starting Monday on the interstate near the border. This closure will affect both directions between Beloit and the Illinois state line. I-43 northbound will also have single lane closures in both directions there. The DOT expects delays for drivers from 8 at night to 5 in the morning every day next week. These closures will be happening off and on at least for the next few months. Right now, several towns are still dealing with the aftermath of severe flooding this morning. In Marshall, water is pouring into the area from nearby water systems. City officials put out a request for volunteers to fill sandbags near the town hall. Even with water continuing to slowly seep into the area, the Marshall fire chief says it's just a matter of containment. And here's a look at what is going on in Watertown. Firefighters say they rescued 4 people from their cars that got stuck in the flash flooding. No one was hurt, but cars were still stuck in the high waters overnight. Police say they were surprised by how bad it was.
I mean, it rained for about 14 hours, I'm going to assume. So I knew there was the potential for at least high water, but I didn't think it would flood to this extent.
The Watertown Unified School District had to cancel their high school football season opener against Beaver Dam due to unplayable field conditions caused by that flooding. The rain also caused some trouble in the Milwaukee area. Check out this video. It shows a section of Interstate 43. Several drivers got stuck in the flooding and needed to be rescued. Altogether, 4 people had to be rescued there as well, and 2 others got out on their own. Luckily, nobody was hurt. The flooding happened where recent construction narrowed the highway. If your plans depend on the weather, remember, this is your reminder to get our accurate 12-hour and 10-day forecasts and up-to-the-minute traffic information on the go. Be sure to download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic app and be the first to know. Right now, the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin is planning on expanding its campus in Wauwatosa. This is the hospital's first major expansion in a decade. It'll cost around $265 million. The state is seeing its first case of West Nile virus in person this year. The case involved someone from Dane County. The majority of human cases of West Nile in our state occur August and September. 5:08 is your time this morning. A Wisconsin-based conservation organization focused on raising young whooping cranes announced it will be closing. Operation Migration will be stopping operations after 25 years. The group pioneered the approach of raising whooping cranes by having them follow aircraft that mimic their parents. The group's leaders say that decision by the Fish and Wildlife Service made its efforts ineffective, but that shouldn't discount any of their many achievements.
When we used an ultralight aircraft to lead birds south, it attracted an audience of environmentalists, birders, pilots, adventurers, and it educated a lot of people to the plight of endangered species like whooping cranes. So that's part of our legacy.
Operation Migration will end operations by the end of this year. An organization that began as a way to honor the father of Wisconsin head basketball coach Greg Gard is raising money to support other cancer patients this weekend. Glenn Gard lost his battle with brain cancer 6 months after his diagnosis. His wife Connie started the Iowa County Cancer Coalition in February of last year, hosting the organization's second annual fundraiser. It starts at 4 o'clock this afternoon at the Iowa County Fairgrounds in Mineral Point. Tonight there will be a luminary ceremony to celebrate cancer survivors and remember those lost to the disease. All of the money raised goes to cancer patients undergoing treatment. 5:09 is your time this Saturday morning. Another humid and foggy start out there to start us off. Here's a live look over the Capitol this morning. You can see that haze there around the Capitol building. Chris will have your full weekend forecast, which is looking pretty good coming up next. And there are several shows and movies you should find some time for this weekend. Will is here with your 3 things to watch. That's all ahead right here on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good Saturday morning to all of you out there. Today is certainly a different change of pace as opposed to what we saw out here yesterday. Now it is much more calm compared to that heavy rain, but we really saw some of those rain totals begin to add up. Watertown, 8.6 inches officially there, and anywhere between about 4 to 9 inches is where a lot of those rain totals did fall yesterday. Here in Madison, we actually broke a record for a daily rainfall record yesterday. And that was also the highest daily rainfall record ever set during the June to September period, breaking the 1-inch mark for the first time. So yesterday, quite a wet day for us right around here. We are now exceeding how much rain we normally see for the month of August. So once again, we are back on track with those above average months. We still do have a flood warning. This is essentially right along the Dodge and Jefferson County line, and that's in anticipation of high water that is still ongoing in those areas due to runoff. But we are free of any rain that will be added to the issue there. So we should be free of rain, and we should be able to see some of those water levels begin to decrease in time. Temperature-wise this morning, we are in the low and mid-60s for a lot of folks. 64 in Watertown, same for us here in Madison right now at 64 degrees. Some fog being reported in quite a few spots as well, so do be advised of that. But we'll watch our temperatures top out into the low 80s for those highs this afternoon, and it's still going to be at least a little bit humid as you are out there. But high pressure now coming in, it's going to keep a lot of the sunshine around with temperatures topping out into the low 80s today and then cooling down into the 60s overnight. Sunday will do it all over again with those temperatures topping out into the low 80s, but you'll notice cloud cover on the increase. That is ahead of the next rain chance that is going to arrive as we get you into Monday. So this afternoon, 81 degrees, partly sunny and warm. Another fantastic day. That rain chance Monday and into Tuesday, that has the potential to be a decent little drink of water for us. We'll watch that one, especially for our friends in the Northwoods who need the rain. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, though, do look fantastic. Temperatures in the 70s with lower humidity.
Those temperatures looking really nice, Chris.
I know. I'm excited about next week. It's going to be fantastic.
All right, thank you. Well, Twilight fans know it as Bella's house, and now it's up for sale. The 2,500 square foot home nestled in St. Helens, Oregon, actually features 2 bathrooms. The current owners of the house call the 1935 gem a magical place that fans flock to from all over the world. It's listed for about $350,000. Actor Ethan Peck may soon be uttering the famous phrase, "Live long and prosper." Peck has been tapped as Spock for the 2nd season of Star Trek Discovery on CBS All Access. The 32-year-old actor is the grandson of Hollywood icon Gregory Peck. 5:16 this morning, whether you're looking to escape to a world of superheroes or maybe take in something more realistic, like a true story of one of the riskiest art heists in American history, our Will Loper has something for you to enjoy this weekend in his 3 Things to Watch.
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal. To wipe out half the universe. If he gets all the Infinity Stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers.
New on home video this week is Avengers Infinity War.
We got one advantage. He's coming to us. We have what Thanos wants, so that's what we'll use.
The greatest mashup of superheroes ever join forces to stop the giant purple villain, Thanos.
Perfectly balanced. As all things should be.
Avengers Infinity War is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
I'm Peter, by the way.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using your made-up names. Then I am Spider-Man.
You ever feel like you're waiting for something to happen?
Now available for digital streaming is the film American Animals.
Through these doors, John James Audubon. His book is the most valuable in existence.
$12 million in rare books, and only one old lady guarding it.
The crime caper, based on a true story, follows 4 men as they attempt to pull off one of the riskiest art heists in U.S. history.
Can I just say how dumb this entire thing is?
How do you know no one's gonna get hurt?
American Animals is available to rent or buy on digital HD now.
Entire operation.
Can you please not touch the model?
Thanks.
I want to be in charge of my own destiny.
I want to see the outside world.
I want to get rid of all the diseases plaguing mankind and replace them with worse ones.
And newly arrived on Netflix is Disenchantment.
Being out of control.
I don't even know what to yell at you.
I'm not so bad.
Well, you did kill that one guy. I'd be fine if someone could just slide my head up a bit.
The series follows Princess Bean as she finds herself in all sorts of fantasy misadventures.
Isn't there a point in everyone's life where they need to go and figure out who they are? Whew, I'm a good butcher.
This is a pet shop.
All 10 episodes of Disenchantment are available to stream on Netflix now.
I've got a bad idea.
What's bad about it? Oh, never mind. I see.
Happy watching. Those are the 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Time right now is 5:19. If you thought Quidditch was just a fictional sport straight out of the wizarding world, think again. Some of the world's top beaters, seekers, and chasers are in Madison for a major tournament this weekend. Plus, the Packers are back with their first win behind them We're looking ahead to the rest of the preseason play and what's to come in the regular season. The news is back in the morning on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
And we do have dense fog advisories until 10 a.m. for just about all of south central Wisconsin, other than 4 counties in the Milwaukee area. But if you were out driving early this morning, yeah, there's some patches of some dense fog, so do be on the lookout for that. Visibility downtown a bit better. You can see there's a little bit of fog in the lights in the Capitol, but for the most part, the city center is doing well. It's the outskirts of town that are really dealing with a lot of that fog out there. Temperatures across the state are into the 60s and low 70s for some of us, looking at you, Milwaukee there. But for the most part, we have a lot of our temperatures that are into the 60s. We'll reach the 70s and even the low 80s for those highs this afternoon. Expect plenty of sunshine. Josh?
Thanks, Chris. Coming up on 524 this Saturday morning, we've seen the Packers make good use of their practice fields this summer to get ready for the season. The stadium district is Packers Central, but have you ever wondered about that small business sandwiched between those 2 practice fields and why it's there? Alexandra Burnley visited the store full of soap to find out.
Soap Products LLC is in the shadow of the towering Don Hudson Center on Mike McCarthy Way.
My in-laws own the business. They bought it probably in the mid-60s, and they did well with it. And in 1968, they built the building here.
But it wasn't until Tim and his wife Lori took over the family business that the Packers started calling, asking if the Glodowskis were interested in selling.
We basically told them location, 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 because we have a pretty good walk-in trade that generates quite a bit of our revenue.
Other businesses that were next to soap products did sell, leaving the Glodowskis with a front row seat to Packer practices.
You know, we got windows up the side of the practice field. You know, if we wanted to, we could sit and watch practice, and you hear them out there grunting and the coaches getting after them.
And the location has also brought them once-in-a-lifetime memories.
You know, we're here every day. They come to practice every day. It's been nice because, you know, we got to know Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and, you know, a lot of the players. When Kabir was here, he'd come over, and we've got dogs here, and he'd come over to see our dogs. Aaron would come and see our dogs, and just had some very nice conversations with him.
Years ago, the Press-Gazette took this photo of Tim and Lori's daughter hanging in the window of the store watching Packers practice.
Chris Jackie put a football through our window one time.
While it's been about 7 years since the Packers last offered to buy the lot, Tim says it may be an option the family would consider in the future if they asked again. For now, though, they're enjoying feeling one with the Pack.
We're very happy with where we are. We love our location. We've got a very good relationship with
And if football isn't your sport of choice, dozens of Harry Potter-inspired athletes will be in the area competing for a cup that isn't the Goblet of Fire. Major League Quidditch is flying into Middleton today to see who will take home the Quidditch Cup. Quidditch used to be a fictional game in the Harry Potter series involving young wizards flying around on brooms, but it's now grown in popularity in the Muggle world. 12 professional teams are in town to crown a champion this weekend. It'll be brooms up starting at 9 o'clock this morning at Firefighters Memorial Park. 5:26 this morning. There is more ahead on News 3 This Morning Saturday. The day's top stories are next, including the tense moments at a high school football game last night when shots rang out in the stands. And here he is, Bucky number 85 joins the parade. This weekend is your first chance to see him, but you don't have too long. Thanks for watching News 3 This Morning Saturday. It's the start of a new school year and a new round of germs. How to keep your students safe and well.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good Saturday morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning, Saturday, 5:30 right now on this August 18th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese will have your weekend forecast in a moment, but first, here's a look at some of the stories we're tracking this morning. Right now, authorities in Florida are trying to figure out what led to a shooting at a high school football game. Palm Beach Central High School's football stadium was evacuated after gunshots rang out during a practice game last night. Authorities say it stemmed from an altercation between students. Deputies say a group of students got into a fight resulting in gunfire and 2 people were shot. Police have not yet released any information on the suspects or a motive. Right now in Wanakia, shooting and standoff is now a homicide investigation after the victim who was shot died. Police say a man surrendered after shooting a woman multiple times at the Creekside condominiums on Kearney Way. Investigators tell News 3 a man who lives there entered a neighbor's apartment, shooting her 3 times. Police say the man, considered mentally unstable, barricaded himself inside the apartment before surrendering after a brief standoff. There will be more police officers along the side of the road for the last couple of weeks of summer. It's the first weekend of the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign, which runs through Labor Day. Hundreds of extra officers and deputies will be looking for drunk drivers heading up to the holiday. The DOT reports drunk driving crashes caused more than 160 deaths and 3,000 injuries in the state last year. An organization that began as a way to honor the father of Wisconsin head basketball coach Greg Gard is raising money to support other cancer patients this weekend. The fundraiser starts at 4 o'clock this afternoon at the Iowa County Fairgrounds in Mineral Point. Later tonight, there will be a luminary ceremony to celebrate cancer survivors and remember those lost to the disease. All the money raised goes to cancer patients undergoing treatment. Time right now is 5:32, and it kind of looks like the start of a scary movie out there with all that fog, Chris.
It does. We've had a lot of fog, some dense fog advisories, but I'll tell you what, we are nowhere near as wet this morning as we were yesterday. Check out some of these rainfall totals that came in. Watertown, 8.6 inches. You had a little bit over 5.5 in Waterloo, and it just anywhere between about 4 and 9 inches of rain is what a lot of people saw yesterday, especially where you had the flooding. Here in Madison, we even set a daily rainfall record of 1.52 inches of rain yesterday. We had another one on the 16th there, so we have had a lot of water coming in from the heavy rainfall that we did see. Now, we do still have one flood warning. That is southern Dodge County and northern Jefferson County, right around where they saw a lot of that flooding yesterday. We're going to watch that as the water levels rise from groundwater, but we shouldn't be adding any rainfall to those waters today. We are still tracking some clear skies. We've seen those clear skies for the past 3 hours or so, really longer than that. 63 degrees the temperature right now. Lots of 60s are showing up. Milwaukee at 70 this morning, but we do also have some of that fog out there, Josh. Visibility about a quarter mile. 0 visibility up in the Dells, 1 mile visibility over in Mineral Point. Now, going through the rest of the day, we'll see sunshine, temperatures topping out into the low 80s, and we're going to stay into the 70s for the early afternoon. Traffic does continue to run smoothly. We're going to watch that traffic run smoothly going through the rest of this morning. So far, no issues or delays. Josh?
All right, Chris, thank you. 5:34 right now. Parents across the state are preparing to send their kids back to school, but allergists are reminding families to make sure they are prepared before students enter the classroom. Kenneth Craig has more on what parents and kids need to know to stay safe.
Summer is winding down for the Shulman family, and with 2 children with food allergies, that means getting ready to go back to school now.
Before school starts, I always make sure to get in touch with my child's teacher, with the school nurse.
The American College of Asthma, Allergy, and Immunology says from kindergarten to college, being prepared is critical. And for elementary students, parents need to be an advocate for children.
Speaking to the teachers, the administration, also you can do small measures like having the child bring a placemat to eat their food on, discussing the importance of hand hygiene.
Allergist Dr. Alyssa Hirsch says middle and high school students need to learn to watch out for themselves.
The highest incidence of accidental exposures happen in those teenage years, and they can have worse outcomes because they don't always carry their EpiPens.
Children with allergies or asthma should have emergency action plans like these, as well as their EpiPen twin pack at school.
This is my go bag.
The Shawmans know how important it is to be ready. 8-year-old Oliver is allergic to sesame. 3-year-old Davis just had an anaphylactic reaction to nuts, for which their mom used the EpiPen and called 911.
Because we had this experience so recently, I also just regained like a sense of vigilance.
I read the labels all the time.
Oliver also makes sure his friends and teachers know about his allergies.
So if they don't know, I always tell them.
Because having everyone at school on the same page could be life-saving. Kenneth Craig for WISC News 3.
Dr. Hirsch also recommends children with allergies and asthma wear medical alert bracelets with their name, age, and allergies listed in case of an emergency. What is your first weekend to check out the last Bucky statue, which was just unveiled yesterday? The 85th and final Crazy Legs Bucky stands outside of the UW Police Department on Monroe Street. All of the Buckies across the Madison area will stay on display until September 12th. After that, 30 of them will be auctioned off at a party on September 29th, with the money going to benefit cancer research and other local charities. 5:36 this Saturday morning. The new school year is only beginning, but many educators don't take the summer months off. Next, we'll meet this month's top-notch teachers who know all about how to deal with class clowns. Charlotte Deleste takes us there when News 3 This Morning Saturday continues.
Good morning. We do have dense fog advisories in effect for just about all of south central Wisconsin. Those are going to last until 10 o'clock this morning, so be on the lookout for any fog that you may run into. So far, though, looking downtown, you see a little bit of that fog on the horizon, kind of a gray look behind the Capitol. Temperatures are into the low 60s here in Madison, and really it's the low 60s across the state as a whole. Milwaukee, one warm spot at 70 right now. As we go through the day, we'll top out right around 80 degrees today with full sunshine. We'll reach the upper 70s by lunch. Josh?
Thanks, Chris. 20 minutes to 6 right now. Ladies and gentlemen, step right up. We're heading to the greatest show on earth. Well, not exactly, but there is a place that teaches students how to be circus performers. Charlotte Deleste introduces us to this month's top-notch teachers.
There's something about the circus that draws people.
Why circus? Because it is irresistible. It speaks to the senses. It is the substance of dreams.
Marcia Mickelon and Jacob Mills are awakening the senses of their students at Wild Rumpus Circus and Mazo Movement Arts Center in Mazomanie.
I don't know of another program that is as comprehensive as our program is.
I feel like circus can be for everyone, no matter what your body type, no matter what your skill set.
Since 2002, these two ringmasters have been offering classes and workshops that mirror what adults studying theater would learn, with the highlight being circus skills.
We usually start our days with tight wire walking practice and juggling practice and object manipulation of all kinds.
The advanced students get into more physical skills like rope and harness, aerial trapeze, aerial silks, and the highlight for many, the German wheel. But just as exciting and challenging is finding your stilt legs.
Stilt walking is a huge part of our program. I would say I've taught safely probably 1,000 people over 17 years.
Stand up straight. Let's not forget the emotion. After all, the circus is about entertaining, and the key to bringing out the expressiveness in these budding performers is to simply hide.
Many times a child that is sort of shy or doesn't apply themselves just because they're uncertain of their abilities, again, the mask makes it possible for them to be inside of this thing and nobody knows who they are, and they're not afraid to express themselves that way. That's all we want people to try to do here at camp is just try. You might surprise yourself.
What's not surprising is the joy and satisfaction both Marcia and Jacob get from helping their students be a part of the greatest show on earth.
I love what I do. I'm very lucky to get to do what I do. You couldn't do this if you weren't having fun, absolutely.
I couldn't imagine doing anything else, for one thing. We feel just so lucky that we get to work with kids in this way. Of course, I feel proud and I feel choked up.
And if you'd like to nominate a top-notch teacher, click on the Education tab on our website, channel3000.com. Well, 5:43 this morning. Are you looking for something to do this weekend yet? Well, we have several ideas for you. Take a whirlwind trip to the Wizarding World or head to Africa for a lesson in culture, music, and food. A variety of events for a vast array of audiences both today and tomorrow. In your Weekend 608 coming up next on News 3 This Morning Saturday. But first, happy birthday to all the kiddos turning 3 years old today. We'll be right back.
Good morning. We've been waking up and a lot of us have been running into some fog out there in a lot of spots. Visibility is on the lower end, a quarter-mile visibility for us here in Madison, half a mile in Janesville, quarter mile in Monroe as well. You head up towards the Dells, their visibility right now is 0 at the moment. Because of this, we do have a lot of dense fog advisories for all of these areas that you do see shaded in the gray: Watertown, Juneau, Madison, Monroe, Janesville. That's all going to go until about 10 o'clock this morning, so do be aware of that. In terms of any rainfall, we are not expecting any of that today. In fact, Doppler track has been clear for the past several hours since the rains really moved out yesterday and the storms from yesterday evening began to fall apart. Temperature-wise, we're seeing most of us into the low 60s this morning. It is a little humid though, but those temperatures are on the lower end. 63 for us right now here in Madison, and like I mentioned, some fog being reported. The dew point at 63 as well. You have 100% relative humidity, and oftentimes you can get some fog to develop under those kinds of conditions. Temperatures will top out into the low 80s, especially as we begin to approach the afternoon and peak heating of the day. This is thanks to high pressure moving in from Canada. That's really going to keep a lot of that sunshine around for quite a lot of us and for at least a couple of days as well. By the evening time, temperatures will be into the mid-70s, so maybe you want to have dinner outside, have a bonfire or a little cookout. It'll be a good weekend to go ahead and do so. We'll start off your Sunday with temperatures into the mid-60s again, and then by the end of your Sunday, or entering in the afternoon and evening there, we'll see those temperatures top out into the low 80s once again, and then hang out into the 70s. Now, Sunday night and into Monday, we'll pay attention to this next system moving our way. That's going to bring some increasing rain chances, and here's the deal. Going through Sunday, they could have some pretty beneficial rain out to the west, and of course we know our neighbors in the North Woods really need a lot of that rain. Of course we don't down here after yesterday, but they're still fairly dry up there, so hopefully we can get a nice drink of water for them. Temperatures will then come down beyond that. Check out Tuesday, not getting beyond 74 degrees. Finally, that'll be a change with some temperatures that are headed more so on the below average side of the spectrum. 81 degrees into this afternoon, so we'll still be a couple degrees warmer than where we should be. 82 for your Sunday. Those rain chances do increase Sunday night, and into Monday, can't rule out some thunder associated with that as well. Those rain chances will likely linger into Tuesday, but then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are looking fairly spectacular with lots of sunshine and low humidity as well. We're going to say hello to Sassy in Fitchburg. I bet she is a sassy fella or
she looks
lady
sassy.
there. I know, she really does. Just look at that pose. She's working it. That's what she's doing.
Sass.
So if you're going to be out walking your pet today, temperatures in the low 80s, we'll see lots of sunshine.
You know, these temperatures are perfect, and like you said, you were talking about that humidity going down. That's what I like to hear.
I know. I'm looking forward to that day. It won't necessarily be today, but by the middle of the week.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
What is the weekend in the 608?
And here's a look at what's going on around the area.
Harry Potter fans are in for a treat. ExpectoCon continues today and tomorrow, transforming Middleton into a wizarding heaven. You can come in costume, maybe as a house elf, or just bring your magic wand. I love the music in the background right now.
Yes.
You can meet actor Victor Crumb from the Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire film and cheer on your favorite team in the Major League Quidditch Championships. This takes place at Madison Hotel West.
Man, that sounds exciting. Now, the next couple events will take you over to the east side. Shanks Quarters Block Party at the intersection of Atwood and Winnebago continues today as well. A dozen bands are set to play with plenty of dancing in the streets. Local bluegrass favorite Wheelhouse will be there. Today is also the 20th anniversary of Africa Fest at McPike Park. It starts at about 10 o'clock this morning and will run to 10 o'clock tonight. The community-based festival will feature music, artistic, culinary, and cultural traditions of the African immigrants.
And this next event is a block party and pub crawl. The Madison Makers Market happening today will include more than 40 art and food vendors set up in the vicinity of the Brass Ring and Brink Lounge and Old Sugar Distillery. That's in the East Wash and East Main Street area. Market goers are invited to shop with a drink in hand. I like the sound of that. The Makers Market starts at noon and runs until 5.
And as always, you can pick up a copy of this month's Madison magazine for all of the best in the area.
5:52 is your time. There is a full hour ahead on News 3. Later this morning, we'll be live from the Agora Art Fair. That's coming up at 8. Then tonight at 6 and 10, we're immersing ourselves into the world of Harry Potter, heading into the National Quidditch Tournament, as we just previewed. But first, the play of the week didn't happen on the field, but off. One baseball fan paying it forward to another. This heartwarming story when News 3 This Morning Saturday returns. And welcome back at 5:55 this morning. Football season may have kicked off this week, but the play of the week actually happened at a baseball game, not on the field, but in the stands.
And here's Vladimir Duthiers in Detroit.
And it will go down in history as nothing. But it's not nothing to him.
No, very important.
Now he wants another one.
That's great.
Oh.
How about that?
How nice is that? When an adult catches a foul ball, you say give it to the kid. But when a kid catches it, gives it to a younger kid, that'll melt your heart.
How great is that?
I'm not crying, you're crying.
And then shakes his hand. Look at that.
When you sour on humanity, even for a moment, please think of that.
So your dad catches the ball. We caught up with 10-year-old Travis Blackwell and 7-year-old Michael Ogden at the park.
I said, can I give this ball to that kid down there because it's his birthday today? Back a couple of years ago, I went to a Lansing Lugnuts game, and an adult gave me a ball, and it just made my day. So I wanted to make his day, just be a blessing to him.
I was kind of bummed, and then I got him catch a ball, and then he just came down and gave it to me. I think it was awesome.
And so was this moment today.
And a ball came over the net, and the guy gave it to me, and then this little girl was sitting behind us, and I gave the ball to her, and it was her first baseball she has ever had.
You got a ball a couple of years ago from a complete stranger. Last night, you gave a ball to a complete stranger. And then today, you gave a ball to a complete stranger.
Line of awesomeness.
Yeah, the line of awesomeness. We should all get in that line to pay it forward.
I feel accomplished.
Vladimir Jutip, CBS News, Detroit.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
I know. Talking about line of awesomeness, that was awesome. We have a line of awesomeness and our own 10-day forecast. It's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of the upcoming week. But today, it's going to be a beautiful day as well, topping out in the low 80s.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you ahead coming up at 8 o'clock this morning.